Share it real quick.
What's up, everybody? This is Jason Arthur with Paranormal Mysteries and LEP Productions. Butter my butt and call me a biscuit. It's time to grab a chair, sit down, relax, and sit, chat, and laugh with my good friends, the Lynches.
Well, we're back. Did you guys miss us? We were off the other week, and we're back on air this week. Teresa, why did we miss last week?
I don't remember. Oh, yeah, I do.
I don't remember.
I don't know. I just come in here and talk when you tell me to. Okay?
That's the reason why we're late going on air. Teresa wasn't in here. Me and Carl's been sitting there shooting the shit for about, 3 hours or so, waiting on Teresa to get involved.
You lie. Oh, my. Oh, my.
Oh, some things will never change. Me being nice is one of them.
You being an asshole.
I welcome everybody here to Stirring the Pot. Sit, chat, and laugh with the Lynches. See, I want to have that show tomorrow night. It's about it. I'm already talking about it. But Sit, chat, and laugh with the Lynches for our, God, how many seasons we've been doing this shit? About 7.5 years now. God. And we used to be on the network with this young man right here. It was our guest tonight, Mr. Carl Hutchinson. We was with Parasearch Radio for quite a while. How you guys doing over there? I miss you guys.
You're always welcome to pop in and come along, and you're part of the family. You're part of the network.
Oh, absolutely. And I love doing the show with Carrie, but the Fridays I was getting to pop in with you guys until my work decided they want to work me like a slave. I mean,
That's okay, because I don't mind the paycheck.
Yeah, they've been paying a lot of good money for a lot of years. They think they finally decided to get their money's worth out of my ass.
Right?
The Fridays I was getting to pop. Uh-oh. So, how have you been, young man? I have not got to sit and talk with you in forever.
I'm doing good. It's been a busy few months. But I'm doing really well. I'm busy on the old, obviously with the radio. I'm doing the Thursday night show with the lovely Sam, and then doing the Dark Mirror show on the Friday night, which is the light-hearted part of it. And I did my Q&A session as we do every start of the year. So busy, plus investigations and trips away and everything like that. So yeah, it's all going good, and yeah, really good.
That's awesome, man.
One of these days when you make your trip away and you come across this way, we'll meet up with you.
We've been saying that for about 4 years now. We ain't met up with his ass yet.
Well, I'm like in 10 days time I'm in New Orleans. Come down to New Orleans.
Don't tempt me, man. Don't tempt me. You know better than with me.
We love New Orleans.
Come and drink some hand grenades on Bourbon Street.
Oh shit! And speaking of the Thursdays or the Friday show, the Dark Mirror show, and trying to channel my best Mark Manley, my brother from another mother, aliens.
Exactly. Good shout out, Mr. Mark. He's had a little bit of a problem this week. His poor mum had a bit of an accident.
I saw that.
She's sadly in intensive care, but she's, by the sounds of the messages I've got from Mark, she's not too bad, but obviously she's a bit shaken up. So my thoughts go out to Mr. Mark Manley, Mr. Alien.
Yeah, our thoughts are with him and his family.
Big shout out, Mark.
Yeah, he's such a wonderful young guy. I mean, it is, and I like harassing the shit out of him. One of these days we'll get him to get on the show with us. He's been wanting to come on for quite a while now with us on Stirring the Pot. I'm like,
he's absolutely pig sick that I'm on tonight, because I've been winding him up all week saying, oh yeah, Jay's not asked you, has he? And he was like, no. I went, no, I'm on Monday, and he went.
He was supposed to come on. But I think he's wanting to join us on Stirring the Pot, and that would be the show for him. Because that's more of the fun side of things, and he can get away with a lot more that what Miss Carrie Greenaway won't let him go away with on Parasearch.
Yeah, she's got that whip out.
Oh, her and Paul's tightened up the reins. That's what I told him. I was joking around with him that one time. I'm like, I'd come back, but you guys get too many rules now.
Yeah, she absolutely makes sure me and Mark keep on, especially on a Friday night, keeps us under control with a firm hand, and it's quite nice.
No, if you notice though, with the few chances I've gotten to pop in on you guys, with you guys, I kind of don't say a whole lot because I'm like, if I say one shit or damn too many, she's gonna fire my ass.
Right? You will be reprimanded.
Yeah, and as they say in politics over in the UK, no comments.
Yeah, it's not just the UK. That's politicians worldwide. No comment.
Good
No
point,
comment.
good point.
No comment. What's your comment about the no comment? No comment. Well, let's kind of just. We know you so well, and we're privileged to know you so well, but some other people may not, especially with this whole transatlantic thing. I love this part of it. I miss that. So give a little bit about yourself to everybody in here.
Well, I'm Carl Hutchinson. I've been in the paranormal field for coming up for nearly 20 years now.
Oh, wow.
Majorly, when I was young, into scary movies and ghost stories, sitting on my grand's lap at Christmas time and holidays, getting told scary stories. And then just sort of kind of fell into, sort of had some experiences when I was young, and then in later life sort of fell into investigating when a friend of mine went, you never guess what our local bar, pub, inn, whatever you want to call it, whatever words you use this side of the Atlantic and the other side of the Atlantic.
All the above.
All of the above, exactly. And they said, they've got this, you won't believe this, but they've got this investigation. And what do you mean investigation? They went, oh, they've got this ghost hunt, but it's a lock-in. It's like basically you can stay basically in the pub all night. I was sold as soon as they said you can stay in the pub up all night. And that was my first sort of foray into the field, and I sort of got into it, and I sat there and I was like watching everybody and taking it all in, and sort of really got that bug sort of like hit you, and I went on another one and then another one. Then I started to look at other things like equipment side of it, so I sort of then went down that road, then got asked to join the team, did that for did public events for about 10 years, and then sort of had some experiences, and then it sort of really took off, and equipment wise, because I'm always been interested in how things work, and I'm not a medium, so I can't see them, sense them, or whatever. So I look at ways of using equipment to validate my personal experiences. So I got into that side of it, and gradually it sort of took off and appeared on Ghost Adventures when they came over in the UK in 2012 for the British, UK Olympics in London. Ended up on that show by sheer chance because they were doing an investigation 20 minutes down the road and need somebody to tell them some experiences. And then it sort of snowballed from there, and doing the radio, doing conventions, and yeah, it's not how I thought when I initially got into going on an investigation. I'd be spending most of my evenings.
It does change things.
Yeah, in dark abandoned buildings, talking to myself most of the time. So it's probably why I'm very good at the radio.
And here we put you on video.
Right.
Exactly. It's always nice. It's always nice.
Well, you know, I did the radio. We did the radio for what? 6.5 years before we started doing the video with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I absolutely enjoy the podcast, and don't get me wrong, but I enjoy whatever you call this, vlogging, whatever. I like the video side of it. I like to see that the facial expressions. I like to be able to put a face with the voice and stuff. It brings a more dimension to it that I enjoy a lot more.
I think it also relaxes people because it's like you're just talking to each other.
Yeah, exactly. That's why you guys when I've interviewed you on my show, I always like to have, because we do it as a live show, but we don't have the video side of it. But I always try to have the Skype open so we can have it. It's like friends down down the pub having a one-on-one chat and all that sort of stuff. And it's can be quite impersonal when it's like you don't have the video on and you're basically just talking to a blank screen. But yeah, I enjoy the video side of it. My beautiful boyish good looks has appeared on TV a few times, so yeah, hey, whatever.
Mine hasn't appeared on TV except for in the back of a wanted poster. But anyway, we got to talk about that.
Yeah. Right. America's Most Wanted, wasn't it?
Right.
I think mine was more like on America's Most Stupid. Some of the dumb stunts I've pulled. America's Most Jackass.
Yeah.
But you know what? I had my fun doing it.
Jay, I think I'm probably not far behind from you on that.
But you know what? It keeps us entertained.
Exactly.
That's true.
Now, paranormal, you got 20 years. That's a long time.
Yeah.
How do you?
I'm kind of getting on a bit in years. That's why I got a bit, like I say.
Hey now.
Video sort of like, I try and keep this a little bit short now, and always wear a hat because there's not much going on up top. So
we're talking about the hair still, right?
Yeah.
I'm kidding, my friend.
No, that's good. It's sort of carried on in early 20s and very early 20s, and it was just, I sort of got into it, and I'd done the early, the going out and this, that, and the other, and few drinkies and that sort of stuff, and I just needed another focus, and the paranormal sort of gave that to me. And I look back at it now and think, do I regret spending so much time doing it? Absolutely not, because it's probably one of the most rewarding things I've ever done. I've met so many people like yourselves. If I hadn't done it, I wouldn't have met you guys.
Oh, absolutely.
I wouldn't have met all these people in the field. And I look at it, I kind of like have to pinch myself sometimes that there's these people that people watch on TV day in, day out on the paranormal shows, and I count some of them as my friends. And that's the thing. I'm like, it was about 2 years ago at Sage Paracon, and we're in the bar after, like, on the first end of the first day, and we're sitting in the bar, and I'm looking around, and I've got John Zaffis, I've got Greg Lawson, I've got Jeff Belanger, I've got Frank Sinelli.
Wow.
I've got all these people, and I'm sitting there going, how did I get here? How did I get there? I'm like talking to John Zaffis, and I'm like, this is the godfather of the paranormal. He's been like the Haunted in Connecticut. This is the guy that is the, like, amazing, and he's cracking jokes to me. And you've got Jeff Belanger, the researcher from Ghost Adventurers, doing various different pranks on me, and I'm just standing there going, this is probably the surrealist moment. And I do have to pinch myself and how lucky I am, and all the breaks and all the amazing people I've met in the field to be able to do what I'm doing. And it's just, I wouldn't change it for the world. It's like going to Salem back, my first American convention. And I was the token British person. And it's quite funny, obviously, Salem, not far from Boston, and obviously you Americans had a little bit of the nastiness with the British by throwing a lot of tea in the harbour.
I was going to say, did they give you any tea?
Yeah, no, I got plenty of those jokes. But I must admit, I was going to do like the joke, oh, the British are coming, now the British are finally here. The Paul Revere things, the British are coming, and all like that. But I must admit, as soon as I walked through the doors, I've been to America a lot of times, but going into that convention for the first time, Mark and his team with MJ, Scott Grimoire, and all that lot, all those people, and I was made so welcome, and obviously it was extra special. It was bang on my birthday, and they didn't have to do what they did. Mark and the team just made me, and like they embarrassed the living whatsits out of me by like, I'm like standing at the back as I do on investigations and when I'm in a bar, just watching and having a drink, having several drinks. And then all of a sudden somebody shouts, "Carl, Mark wants you." So I'm like, what's going on? And then I'm standing in the middle of the dance floor and Mark's like, "Carl's here for the first time, blah, 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 blah," in front of everybody. And they sang happy birthday to me.
Aw.
And I was just blown away. And then Scott Grimwald kissed me on my lips. And yeah, that's probably saying I'm wrapped up in.
Scott never kissed me. We traded shirts though.
Oh, put it this way, there's a video of it, and I went because I thought he was just coming in to give me a hug. And so I went like put my arms out, and he just took hold of my face and just planted one straight on the lips.
That's
and
Scott
I
for
just
you.
went. I was just like taken aback, and you can just see me go. But no. Scott and Jeff, those two, they're brothers from another mother, and we keep in touch. And
Scott is hysterical.
The guys I've met, and everybody that has done it, and all the other people that now I see both this side of the Atlantic and your side of the Atlantic. It's like when I go to New Orleans in 10 days' time. These are people I've met from various different conventions, and we all meet up, and we're having 2 weeks in New Orleans.
That's something I got to say about with us being quite busy there for a while, and still getting busier with the convention circuit and things. It's such a family reunion, almost a gathering, and a place where once you go to one, you will, like you said, you'll make good contacts, and you'll find out that certain people hit certain ones around the same area all the time, and you get a chance to really communicate and to really learn from one another and have a lot of fun and get to know each other on a different level. But there's also so much. It's kind of like the round table that we've been doing on steroids. It really is, because it's so many people coming from so many different directions. And if you really take the time to do a convention right, in my opinion, to sit down and talk with people, there's such a wealth of knowledge there and networking system that you can't buy that knowledge.
No.
You couldn't afford that knowledge. You couldn't afford that network system. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's something. There's something special about being in an environment with like-minded people. You don't have to be worried about voicing your opinions on ghosts, spirits, investigations, etc., because you're in an environment where everybody is exactly the same. They're all interested, and I do want to do a quick shout out to MJ, my travel buddy, the brains behind Sage Paracon. She came and she made my first American convention so special, and like a surprise birthday meal, etc. But I'm in a room with people that I'd met for the first time, and we're friends now afterwards. And I talk to them, and some of them are coming over for like Sage Paracon this year. I'm obviously out in New Orleans with some of them. Then I'm off to Michigan in August, and obviously I will be at some point doing my little heading to what I describe as Mecca, my Mecca, which is obviously going to Vegas, because I do like a bit of Vegas.
Never been there. Maybe that's where I need to meet up with you at.
Yeah. Well, I want to go to I want to go to Ohio, because I want to go to the capital, because I have to, because I collect like university and football shirts, and caps, as you can probably say. There's one right here, and there's about 15 million that sat next to me. So I try and get them from the various different places. I don't just order them. I have to go to the place.
Yeah.
So,
It's like a badge of honor. You have to earn it. You have to go there to get it.
Exactly.
You can't just order it.
The paranormal shirts.
Yeah, paranormal shirts. I don't
Locations.
get a location shirt unless I go to that location.
Exactly. That's what I'm wearing. This thing I'm wearing tonight. This is merchandise from Salem. There was like four or five of us, and we sort of got this bond. Literally sat at the bar in the hotel, and we're called the Bourbon Perverts. And this is what this shirt is, and it's Bourbon Perverts, Salem Drunk, and our names and all sorts like that. And yeah,
I can see
That's
that.
neat.
So yeah, we've got hoodies, we've got t-shirts. So yeah,
That's the way to do it up, man. And like I said, conventions are such a fun time, and it's such a chance to learn and to communicate with one another. Besides the lectures and things like that, the side talks and side conversations are phenomenal.
Yeah, the thing is, you get a chance to actually speak to these guys or speak to these people and anybody there. And you'd be just literally, there'd be huddles in different corners during the day, just chatting and making friendships. And it's just these friendships will last because it's not just the paranormal. There will still be friendships outside of the paranormal, various different things. But yeah, you get to talk to. And I was like, obviously, from the conventions in the UK I'd been to, and then I wanted to see what the conventions, obviously, in the States were like. And seeing the differences, but seeing the similarities. And I'm so happy that the first convention I went to was obviously Salem, because it was so much like what I was used to in the UK, but slightly different with obviously the types of talks, etc. But it was like a family, and that's what I want. That's I think the biggest thing about the paranormal is the family atmosphere, like-minded people, friendships being drawn, and all that sort of stuff. And you just get on, and it's just a lovely atmosphere. There's no egos. There's no look at me. Even if you're on the TV every single day of the week, you're still the same person. You still go to the toilet the same way as everybody else.
But you
you're
hit on
just a
something
normal
there.
person. You're just a normal person.
Right.
You hit on something there with me. And the fact, and I agree with you on the fact that the people that are on TV every day, the John Zappases and all those guys, they don't put on that air. The ones that you have that air from are the ones that's as seen on, where they had their seven little. Those are the ones like, oh, yeah, but I was on TV. I'm like, so.
Exactly.
But not all of them. There's a lot. I mean, you was on an episode, and we're going to get into that. But you were on an episode with Zach Baggy stuff, and you don't have that. I don't see any of your posts with the as seen on Ghost Adventures. I don't see any of that. That's just not your style. And there's
it's not my style, because as I said a little bit earlier, I like to sort of blend into the background a little bit.
Not when I'm around, you're not going to.
I like to I like to just people watch. I like to just like when I'm investigating, because obviously I'm the equipment guy. Like for the first 1 or 2 sessions on a night, I won't take any equipment. I will just watch and see what's going on. I will take it in, and then I will then react afterwards, and then you tailor the equipment to where I'm going. And that's what I do. And yes, I've been on Ghost Adventures. I've been on 2 episodes of Ghost Adventures. Yes, it was an absolute dream, but that doesn't make me as an investigator. That doesn't make me as a researcher. That doesn't make me as a person. I was just lucky enough to appear on the biggest ghost show in the world. Funny stories from there? Yes, got loads. Do I play on it? Not really, because I kind of get a little bit embarrassed by it.
You know, there's Callie Sherrill. She was on there, and she was also on the Aftershocks and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We've got several. Robin Terry. We keep naming friends of ours that's been on those shows,
Mm.
and the majority of them, Jay Marie Yates. You know, they're just
George and
Carrie Chaplin. Just keep naming people. Most of the people are very level headed about it and realize what it is, and are humbled by it, and are happy that they've done it. But also are civil about it. But then you have the few that, like I said, that just crack me up. And you see me get in trouble with it before because I'll start putting in, I've seen on YouTube on my thing and stuff. People's like, you just be a smart ass. Yes, I am. Thank you for noticing. Oh, Carrie would have fired me right there for that one. So if you want to hear a nice, clean show with good things, go see Parasearch Radio and listen to Carrie Greenaway and Mark Manley and Paul Rook and this young man right here, Carl Hutchinson.
Yeah. From Tuesday at 9 p.m. in the UK, available on speaker and all various different platforms every day of the week, up from Tuesday onwards till Friday, and special shows on Saturdays and Sundays.
Yep, it's 9 p.m. there. It's 4 p.m. here. Trust me, because I usually try to, if I'm off on Friday afternoon at 4 p.m., I try to rush home real quick and join them every once in a while.
Yeah, and we'll get you back on.
Yeah,
you have to join,
me.
especially on the Dark Mirror show, because that's always good fun. That's always good fun.
I'll join you again since they quit making me do so much adulting. I don't know what's wrong with these people. After 24 years of being there, they still expect me to act like an adult every once in a while.
It's all right on a Friday. Nobody acts like
I don't know what their problem is. I got a podcast to do. Go away, people. What do you mean I got to work? Now, you're talking about being the equipment guy. As you well know, she's psychic medium. I'm psychotic double extra large. So I have to use the equipment also. But being that you straddle both sides of the pond, I've seen a difference in the equipment over here than over there.
I was just going to ask, is there a difference in the equipment?
But it's not really a difference. Some of them are, it's the same thing, it's just made differently and put in a different package.
The equipment side of it, from America to the UK, there is a difference, particularly by what you guys use over in the States and to what sort of happens over in the UK, because you get kind of the more specialized equipment or the latest equipment, but over in the UK, because of import and all that sort of stuff, there's a lot of companies that have sprung up that are sort of copying the equipment that is made by some of the big names like Bill Chappell, Gary Galkin, all those sort of people. So because we can't get it in the UK, there's people that are like sort of copying it and making their own versions of it. So you get a lot of like copies of like REM pods or spirit boxes or portals or all those sort of things, SLS cameras. So there is a common link between equipment, but there's also differences. I think one of the biggest differences that we have is the whole difference about as seen on TV. Because I feel, looking at the equipment side of it, you guys in the States, if it's got as seen on TV, it's more popular. People will go out and buy it and use it. They want the brands. They want the millimeter. They want the REM pod as used by the guys on Ghost Hunters or the guys on Ghost Adventurers or Ghost Brothers and all that sort of stuff. That's
because that's ingrained in everything we do. Everything has a sponsorship, and if it's got a sponsor,
absolutely.
Everything.
In the UK, in the UK, saying you're on a TV show in the UK doesn't really cut the mustard. If that is that saying over in the States?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, something you can say. Oh yeah, I'm been on TV, and people go, yeah. So what? Yeah, we're not interested in whether you're on TV. We want to know your background, what you've been doing, and why you're using it. People in the UK, I've found, they are, which I think is in a kind of good way, take equipment on, don't take it on just baseline. They want to know the equipment. Obviously, there's a lot of people out there that will just buy it because Zach Bagans shows it on a screen for 10 seconds on every episode. But the investigators and the researchers, they want to know about the equipment. They want to know how it works. They want to know the false positives. They want to know this, that, and the other. They want to know as we've got a saying in the UK, the ins and outs of a duck's arse, basically.
Well, that's pretty easy to figure out.
Yeah, exactly.
If it goes in, it comes out the duck's ass.
Right?
Exactly. But it's I think it's to do with brands, like as you say, branding and stuff like that.
Well, it's the whole promotional thing over here, where a lot of people, once you get in a company to start allowing them to use your equipment, they usually give you equipment or pay you endorsement fees, and that now reduces your costs. And now I'm a professional investigator. I've been paid to do this. What the hell ever. But it's just that whole mentality, and everything's about the bottom line over here.
But it's also down to, like, yeah, okay, I'm being paid to have the latest bits of equipment. The question I want to ask those people is, do you know how to use it? Do you know what false positives are? Do you know how to change the batteries in the dark? Do you know how? That's the biggest key. When I pick up a bit of equipment, the first thing I want to know is, how do I change the batteries, and how can I do it in the dark? Because I don't want to be putting on a light. I don't when I'm on an investigation. And if it's far too complex, where you're unscrewing and you've got these tiny little screws that are going to fall around and you're going to lose them in the dark, not interested. I want something that can just click, plop, click, and you're carrying on. You're
back in the game and not have to fool around with a bunch of extra stuff. It's Mama D asked a question in the chat room. Hi, Mama D. She's our godsend. She puts the links already up here to the Parasearch and everything else. She's wonderful. She's our God savior when it comes to the show.
Hello. What was that, Mama D?
Mama D, Darlene, Mama D Angel. She also does some podcasts and stuff. They're absolutely phenomenal. She's out of Quebec, Canada.
Nice to talk to you, Mama D.
So she's a sweetheart. Y'all, she may be hitting you up to book you on her show too. She's a great lady.
Hey, anytime.
She asked, "What is your favorite piece of equipment?"
I've been asked, funny enough, over the last 2 weeks, that question has been asked to me probably a dozen or so times. And I think because of what I do, my go-to bit of equipment at the moment, because I'm obviously doing baseline readings, and before you do anything, I go around and walk the location where I am. It has to be a millimeter. And the reason I say that is you've got EMF field on it. You've got accurate milligauss levels on it. You've got ambient temperature. You've also can have other features on them depending on which type of millimeter you've got. So what I will do is I will make sure I go around and look at all the areas where we're going to be. Take the baseline reading. So when I go into those, when I'm actually doing the research or the investigation, there's an anomaly, there's something different from my baseline readings, I know what that is. So I would say that my go-to bit of equipment before anything, before I choose other bits of equipment, which I will always go to, my first bit of equipment is one of my millimeters. Whether it's just the basic mel, whether it's a mel meter with the REM, or the mel meter with the REM and the ADT, or the shadow detector, or this, that, and the other, whatever, because obviously there's so many different variations. It will always be the mel, because I want to get the baselines. I want to get, I want to know what the norm is in the area we're doing. So if something is happening and there is a change in the environment, I can then document that, and I can then see that from the changing from what I do on my baseline to what my investigation is. So I'm always got the millimeter. I will always check it, and I will always make sure, noting down if there's any temperature changes, and then look around to see if there's anything. Because obviously, if you're in a location and you do your baseline readings, you're the only one walking around, and then you're in a small room and there's like 4 other people, that temperature's gonna go up because you've got 4 body heats in there. So I'm looking at that sort of information. I'm looking at drafts. I'm looking at windows. I'm looking at If there's any power, I'm looking at power supplies. I'm looking at everything like that, incorporating the whole thing.
Absolutely, and I gotta agree.
My go-to would be the millimeter.
I gotta agree. The millimeter is for me, and I didn't have one for the longest time, and then I got my brother's, and then when our friend Jim passed, I inherited his. But Jason, he suckered me one day. We're sitting there talking. He's like, "What's your favorite piece of equipment? What would be would you go to the most?" And it's for the same reason I said the millimeter, because you can read. And it is graduated out. It's just not a flashy light. There's a digital reading to it. You can actually log and data log what's going on with the environment. You can also read the temperature. Well, I thought, I just kind of let it go at that. Oh, God. Then he brought the next investigation. He pops out, and he's got that, mine are the gray ones. He's got that nice, big, shiny black one with the rim potted shadow detector. He handed it to me. He's like, hand me a piece of gold bar. I'm like, I can touch it. I can use it.
Well, that's the sad thing about me. I sort of I have a bit of an addiction with millimeters. I've got all the millimeters in the grey, and then I've now got all the millimeters in the black.
I just Jason got that one black one, and that's like heaven to me, because it gives me. Yeah. I use my other two, but when I need, like, because usually he's got the rim pot or somebody's got the rim pot on the other thing, and I'm like, it's like, well, you want to take the rim pot with you? I'm like, nope, I've got it right here. You need your Mel. You need a.
Okay, everybody get whatever equipment you want. James, I get the Mel.
Yep, Mel's mine. You guys can have the SLS and all this and that stuff. Mel's mine. Mel and my recorder, my recorder, my headset. That's 9%.
The first thing I grab out my case is my Mel. The second thing I would grab out, well, the two other things I grab out. I've got two different digital recorders. Old school digital recorder, which obviously records on a lower frequency, which isn't, because some obviously the new recorders like the Zooms and the Tascams, the newer models, they clean too much out of it, because they're looking for that crisp.
I love my Tascam.
Yeah,
but I cheated and I picked it up for like $40. The guy didn't know what he had. And he said, like, man, I don't know, I'll take $40 for it. And I looked it up, it's like $100 some Tascam. I'm like, deal.
Exactly.
Teresa's like, you ripped him off. I'm like, he set the price. I didn't negotiate at all. I gave him exactly his asking price. How did I rip him off? I gave him what he was asking.
Exactly. Somebody always says to me, I was quite lucky. I was in a situation where, because I'm kind of like I am an equipment junkie. I'm always looking. I'm always various different sites and things like that.
You're the UK's Robin Terry.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what I was sitting here thinking.
Robin Terry, if you ever get over here and get to Ashmore, you need to get to Ashmore Estates and meet Robin. First off, he's a phenomenal guy. But you are, in my opinion, I don't know a whole lot of people in the UK, but you are the UK's Robin Terry. If he's got one Frank's box, he's got one of every kind made. And that one style of Frank box, he's got like 10 of them.
Yeah. People say to me, "Oh, if you brought all your equipment," I said, "I can't bring all my equipment.
Yeah.
I'd need a van. I'd need like a U-Haul van to bring all my equipment."
Wow.
And literally, I live in the house I live in. I tell you what, I can prove this. I can move my hand literally that far, and I can guarantee I'll pick up a bit of equipment.
Oh, I believe you, but I'll take the proof anyway.
There's over here.
That's just not fair with me. I'm sitting. Our studio's got where I keep all our equipment. Now, what is that?
It's Tesla coil.
I want one.
Yeah, Tesla coils.
This kills me. You guys have so many different things over there that over here people are like, "Oh, you can't use that." I'm like, "What? Where does it say that I can't use that? Where does it say that I can't use that damn thing?"
I'm always looking out, and I'm always scribbling in the book various different ideas, from like things that you can use, that are used in other industries that you can scientifically use in other industries, like electricians or building, stuff like that. I'm always looking at that sort of stuff that is proven to pick up on things that potentially you could then bring into our field. Because obviously it's a pseudoscience, it's not proven, etc., etc. So you have to look at things. So I always look at different things. And
but see, with me, I look at those same things, but I look at them that way I can prove what it is, what I know it is, So that way, I'm only left with what I don't know what is.
Yeah.
If I
And people
know
say-
this is creating the static electricity, then I know that the hairs on my arms are because I'm feeling static electricity around me. If I know that so I know what's causing these effects. So I like that, but I don't try to butcher them into something to make them fit what I want them to do. I want them to do their job, so that way I can rule out those things to see what I am left with.
Absolutely. Never try and use a bit of equipment what it's not made for. I've seen it. I've witnessed it. It's just not that. It's not that thing. You can't do that. You can't. It's like trying to put a square peg in a round hole. Doesn't work.
Yeah.
You can hit it so hard that it's going to go in eventually, but it's not going to give you any positive or accurate results. So use the equipment for what it's meant to do. Use the equipment in the environments that they're meant to use. Don't try and ever use something that is potentially in the environment you're going to be using it going to give you false positive results. Know the false positives of your equipment before you even take them out in the field. Know what it's like, as we say, with the millimeter. If you move a millimeter very, very quickly, you're going to get false data on the screen because it's the environment. You're basically messing around with it. Use it like that, or any other bit of equipment. Millimeters, vibe pods, static meters, all those sort of things get affected by phones, walkie-talkies, Wi-Fi, etc., etc. So know this, know those reasons, and don't jump to the conclusion that everything that a flashy light appears on any bit of equipment is going to be paranormal. What my holy grail is: multiple bits of equipment getting multiple hits, not just one REM pod going off or 1 millimeter spiking. Great, but what I want is I want the millimeter to go off. I want my environmental sensors to give me an up and a down, moisture level changing, etc. I want an EVP. I want light anomalies. I want an SLS hit, all at the same time.
I love that effect. Also, we really and we tend to work also with our psychic mediums with our equipment a lot too. I try to take myself out of the investigation, and I try to be nothing but the tech guy using my equipment and the camera to capture what Teresa and Tina and them are doing. When I can go into a room and get readings and stuff, and like you said, get no readings around the room at all, then one of them come in and go, Tina come in and go, I feel this right over here, and I go over there and I'm able to validate that there's a spike in the energy or the environment and stuff that wasn't there earlier, and it validates what they're saying, and it validates also what the equipment's getting. I love working those two together. Devices should be used to prove environmental, not paranormal. Exactly. Luke Walk with Aside Paranormal and Wrestling with Ghosts. He's in the chat room. He says devices should be used to prove environment, not paranormal, in my opinion. And that's pretty much exactly what we're saying. You use the equipment exactly. to prove your environment around you, and it's not that way you can prove you're registering what you do know, and then see what you're left with what you don't know. That there is paranormal, and I like how everybody here keeps referring to it as paranormal. They don't say it's a ghost or a demon or a succubus or an incubus, or we're saying it's paranormal. We're not putting the names to it, and to me, that's something that's lacking in this field. Everybody always wants to put a name to everything.
You guys don't throw the D word around as much over there.
Yeah, the UK doesn't have the demons like we do over here.
No, you mentioned the D word, you'll get a slap basically.
For both D words.
Yeah. Sadly, the D word comes from, particularly in the UK, it comes from the TV shows.
Here too.
Hashtag it's a demon. Right. Hashtag it's a demon.
Hashtag it's here over here the same way. It's all from the TV shows, and people want you to get on the TV shows. Show.
Not saying there isn't demons. Not saying there isn't that at all. I'm just saying if you're a grumpy so and so in life, you're going to be a grumpy so and so in the passed over. Doesn't mean if you're a grumpy so and so when you're passed over that suddenly you've grown horns, hoof feet, and then all of a sudden you're drinking the blood of Satan.
God.
No.
Damn it!
It just means you're still a grumpy so and so in the afterlife.
I want my afterlife membership back. I thought I was going to become a demon and grow horns and son of a bitch.
Yeah,
Damn it.
it doesn't work like that. I think that's what people sort of
Well, Carrie.
they sort of fall back into old ways where suddenly everything, because it can be they're reading, it could be negative, that suddenly it's, oh my god, hashtag it's a demon.
Well, it's like when I was on with Carrie all the time, Greenaway, when we was doing that radio show together, we were seeing that there was such a difference of acceptance levels for things over in the UK from here,
Oh, wow.
like the Ouija board and what was the one she's talking about using a glass? I get kind of like using the glass for like the Ouija board, putting your hands on there and
Glass
stuff.
divination.
Yeah, and also doing the human pendulums and things like that and stuff. You talk about that stuff over here, everybody's like, "Oh, that's just," I'm like, and especially Ouija boards, like, "Oh, it's evil." I'm like, she said, "We're gonna get hate mail for what I said this." And I say it all the time. I said, she's like, "Well, I don't know why you guys are so uptight about it over there." I said, "Because you sent all your religious zealots over here. You sent your convicts to Australia and your religious zealots over here. So we got to put up with all that shit over here. You guys can have some of them back, so they'll lighten the hell up."
As I always say, a Ouija board is as dangerous as if I put a loaded gun on a table.
Yeah. Unless you grab that gun and do something with it.
It's just, once it's sat there, it's just an object.
Yep.
It's how you use it.
I still got to get that one to you, too,
That's when
yet.
it becomes dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, I still got to get that to you. I still get your address. I do have your shirt from Jason, and I have the board. I just got to package it up and mail that to you there in the UK.
Yeah, no worries. I'll send you that. I've got some merch for you as well. I've got some trunk meat Carl stuff for you.
Some what?
My merch, my clothing range.
Okay.
It's called Trunk Meat Carl.
Cool. You know,
Hashtag Trunk Meat Carl.
I'll promote anything I can for you.
It's catering for the paranormal, basically.
But I get your paranormal crash test dummy shirt. I got your Ouija board for the to get to carry. I've got all I got to do is package it up and get it mailed to you. Like I keep thinking, I'm like, I need to do that. I need to do that. I go on 7 days a week, 12 hours a day, and I'm like, when am I going to do that?
Hey, don't worry. I'm exactly the same.
But I do have it. I have not forgotten.
We can send it to him while he's over here in New Orleans.
Yeah, but I'm afraid if I miss him at the hotel and all that stuff, I'd rather
He's
just.
for 2 weeks.
You just want his hotel room.
Well, you're working.
We're not staying in a hotel.
Ah.
We've got a house.
Oh, nice.
You just want his.
I'm basically staying 2 days at the Sheraton in Canal Street. Then I've got 10 days with everybody in this house we've rented. And then the last 2 days I'm back at the Sheraton. So
Absolutely awesome.
Have you been to New Orleans before?
no, first time. I've been to all over America. It's my spiritual home, and I've been saying for years. At some point in my life, I will be sitting on the stoop, rocking in a wheelchair, letting off shotguns and shouting at locals, "Get off my land!"
Come on over. I got some shotguns.
Right? We got the front porch.
Richard Clements has just joined in.
Richard.
Richard.
It's been a while since we met Richard because of Sit, Chat, and Laugh with the Lynches. He started listening to us a long time ago on Z Talk Radio, and then went over with us. We went to Paramania, and then right back to Z Talk, and he's the one who brought us over with Parasearch. And at that time, it was
one of the
Parasearch UK Radio.
original founders of the network.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a long time there, and I was like, why in the world would you invite? You've listened to me before, Richard. Why would you actually put me on your network? What's wrong with you? I mean, Teresa, I get. Jason, I get. Me, why? What's wrong with you? What are you thinking? By the way, I got to ask one question, and it's not paranormal.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me that glass has got something good in it every time you take a sip out of it. It's not just cola.
That's just cola tonight because it's a Monday night.
It's a Monday.
I know it's hard to
It's
believe.
okay.
I know it's hard to believe, Jay, and I must admit I can reach down there and there is a bottle, but no, not tonight.
There's a reason why I asked that question, because this is one of the rules on Parasearch now that you're not allowed to talk about drinking on show. So I just kind of wanted to bring it up and watch Carrie go, that little son of a...
That's the problem with video as well. It's like I can't just sneakily just take a sip or whatever. But no, this is just look. It's just Coca-Cola.
See, I was hoping that But either way, I'm still gonna get in trouble with Carrie for bringing that up.
Hey, we're not on the network, so I'm fine.
That's right.
Well, you're on my network and Scotty
Yeah,
Roy's
exactly.
network, so
I'm
it will be on ztalkradio.com. Also on LEP Productions, which I think I know the president and vice president of LEP Productions, so I think I'm safe.
Yeah. Yeah. And as I know the vice president and senior person, I think I'm okay.
Yeah. If nothing else, I'll tell my mom. Don't make me call my mom.
If this interview was, say, on a Friday, Saturday, or a Thursday, then the glass probably would have had something a little bit stronger. As you know, all I drink is bourbon, so it would be normally there would be something in there. But no, tonight, as it's a Monday, and I wanted to be on best form, it's just Coca-Cola.
Oh, he must be on his best form. That means he knows he's going to show up one of the hosts.
Right?
Well, that was easy. No, I'm telling you right now, we're talking about bourbons. One of my favorite podcasts was Steve DeShavi. Because for about an hour and a half, 2 hours of it, just about the whole 2 hours, it seemed like, actually it's about an hour to an hour and 20 minutes of it.
Yeah.
Me and him sit there and talked about different bourbons and cigars and things like that. We didn't even talk about the paranormal. We didn't talk about his show. He started talking about those bourbons, how he drinks them. I'm like, started talking about them. The only time we had a problem was when he called Jameson swill. He said, "Oh, that swill." I'm like, whoa, time out.
Yeah, this is the whole American side and the UK side. Jameson's over in the UK. Not many people really drink it.
Huh?
No, exactly. Yeah, no. Jameson's is just it's Irish whiskey.
What's wrong with Irish whiskey?
There's nothing wrong with Irish whiskey.
There you go.
There's better things to drink.
Oh my God. I enjoy the Irish whiskey. I do. It's the flavoring of it is, and I know a lot of people's going to piss me for that, but it's also really good for mixing. It makes a really good mixer. It's a good mix.
If you like Jameson's, you need to try a little blend called Bushmills.
Yes, had some. My 20-year-old son took it the other day.
Yeah. That was the one that
Bushmills, the Bushmills distillery in Northern Ireland.
Patty?
And some of the blends of Bushmills whiskey beats Jameson's hands down.
I had some Bushmill. I had one the other day. It was actually fairly cheap from here. It was only like $20 a bottle, but it was called Patty's.
Yeah.
It was really nice. It had a really nice flavor to it. It had a good
like
follow through.
If you like on the Jameson's being an Irish whiskey, but you've got the Bushmills. Then if you then start going into some of the spray side in Scotland, then
I like Killamore Dew.
You talk a different letter. Sorry,
Killamore Dew. I like that one too.
Yeah. There's depends on obviously how they make it, whether it's out of peat, out of the type of water,
absolutely,
and stuff like that.
But I grew up with Jack Daniels and Jim Beam and stuff like that. And to me, that's rock gut whiskeys.
Yeah, but we don't have it in the UK. We don't make a bourbon in the UK.
See, to be a bourbon, it has to be made in Bourbon County, Kentucky. It's still a whiskey.
Exactly. I'm not saying bourbon, sour mash. I just like Maker's Mark and stuff like that.
They're good.
It's like you guys in America, Maker's Mark is like, it's just like, you just pour it. Over in the UK, Maker's Mark is like top end whiskey.
Really?
Yeah.
It's like middle shelf for us.
Wow.
But we're so close with Canada and stuff. We also get a lot of theirs down here too. So there's so many there, and I think what's the biggest one everybody talks about around here is especially all the flavors here lately. Crown Royal, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's I think most people it's just to me it's a good whiskey, but it's not the top shelf. I mean, Jason introduced me to things like Old Forester's Statesman.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, things like that, and getting more into the bourbons and stuff. But yeah, me and Steve, we sit there and talk about whiskeys and bourbons for like over an hour, and cigars. Mm-hmm. And Teresa's like, this is supposed to be, we're talking about a show. I'm like, we're talking about the man. The only thing he wants to talk about is he's the guest. He wants to talk bourbons. I'm talking bourbons.
Well, that was the thing about going to Salem and Paracon. we were in the bar, and all of a sudden, everybody was like leaving the bar, and I'm like, "Where's everybody going?" And then I got a tap on the shoulder by Frank Sinelli, and he said, "Oh, we're going out to the car park." And I'm like, "Why are we going out to the car park? It's freezing out there." "Oh, we're going for a tailgate party."
Yeah.
Like, what is a tailgate party? Never experienced a tailgate party.
Welcome to America.
Right.
Exactly. And I am so glad I experienced a tailgate party. But I just bought a drink, and the barmaid who I'd got to know just said, "Yeah, 2 seconds," and she got a sippy cup, like a kid's sippy cup with a straw, with like a Mickey Mouse on the front. She poured my very large drink in there, and I walked out in the car park, and obviously they've got the big 4x4s. The back doors are open, they're all sitting on the tailgate, and chairs are out, cigars have been cut, and yeah, I was just like, I've now found my heaven. So I'm drinking a very large bourbon and coke out the sippy cup, cigars, chatting, eating homemade sausages and
now see,
meat, cheese.
you need to get, not that, I don't know if you get too much in New Orleans, but you need to get into like Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana, Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee area,
So they have it in Bama.
and get into a tailgate party at one of the events there, because I about guarantee you somebody's going to pull out some good moonshine. And if you're anywhere near the Bama boys, Benny Reed and John Hodges, that was on Deep South Paranormal, get a hold of either one of them Bama boys, or Mr. Tencher in here. He's got some connections probably with some good stuff down there in Kentucky. Get a hold of down there at Mid-South or something like that, and tell them that you need to get a hold of some good Kentucky clear. You'll find a whole new reason to have like tailgate parties. I'm telling you that right now. And you want some clear stuff too. The flavor stuff's okay. Don't get me wrong. I'm not say it's bad. Teresa likes the flavored ones. I want clear. I want good clear moonshine.
I believe somebody's promised something from Virginia, from somewhere in the mountains in Virginia.
Yeah, you can do that too.
Yeah, and I believe there's going to be a jar, a jam jar, or whatever it is, because you got to drink out of a jam jar or whatever, because you're not drinking unless you're drinking out of a jam jar, I suppose. But yeah, I have been promised when I come to the States, when I go to New Orleans, that they're going to bring me some proper clear.
Make sure I mean, the flavor is good. Don't get me wrong. Like John Tinter just said, you have to be shown a proper good bonfire. There's nothing like a good bonfire down in the backwoods of Kentucky. I'm telling you that right now. And to get some of that Kentucky water, yeah, it really it'll change your perspective. And I got in such a debate with people about that not too long ago. I'm like, well, it's just that's what whiskey is, right? Oh no. Whiskey is nothing but moonshine. It's been aged in the barrel. It's still corn liquor. It's corn liquor, folks. One's just been aged in the barrel, get some coloring and some flavoring from the barrel and things. The other one's straight out of the thing before it's been aged. It's still corn liquor.
Yeah,
it really is. So, but there is a difference in it. Well, it's like
There's a big difference.
the one whiskey I want, I still haven't been able to get a hold of is I don't know if you ever heard of it. It's Pabst Blue Ribbon. It's a beer. PBR. It's over here in the States, and it's it used to be one of the cheaper beers, and it still is. But it's made a big, huge comeback. But they decided that they were going to make, because the original people that owned Pabst Blue Ribbon also had a distillery, and they was going to make whiskey. But they made what they called white whiskey, which was moonshine basically. But they said, the federal government went to them and says, well, to be whiskey, it has to be aged in an oak barrel. They said, okay, how long does it have to be aged? They're like, well, there's no limit on that. There's no regulation on it. So they have the barrel set up to where the whiskey comes at the top of the barrel. It takes it 6 seconds to reach the bottom of the barrel. It is a 6-second aged whiskey.
I bet you can power your car on that.
Basically, it's nothing but moonshine.
Yeah.
Been run down an oak barrel, down an oak plank.
That's just a filter, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, whiskey's been kept pretty good. Good shine has not. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. When it first comes out before it's ever cut, it's still corn liquor. It's still corn liquor either way. They cut it down for whiskey and all that.
I haven't experienced it, and that's one of the things that I do I do want to experience. There's several other things I want to
You'll have
experience
to let us know what
when
you
I come
think
to the
about it.
States. So.
Well, see, there's like over here. I can't wait. I've been researching for years now. I always say it wrong. Either Pointine or Pointine, the Irish moonshine.
Pochine.
Yeah, you cannot get it here. You can't even order it in here. I've been even trying to get.
It's just potato.
You can't get it here. I want it's my Irish heritage. It's my Irish moonshine.
You go blind.
I'm already partway there. That was called puberty.
I have tried poaching. Interesting night.
But I've seen two different styles of it. I've seen there's one that's fermented and one that's been distilled. So I have.
No, I've tried the stuff that is just literally fermented, not distilled, not put through any processing, which is literally. It's a bit like over here when you've got cider. You have cider in the States?
Cider beers.
Like apple cider?
Oh, yeah. But I'm saying we turn that and put it up with some beers, too.
Yeah. Apple cider in the UK, when you buy it in pubs and inns, is quite clear. But proper, what we call scrumpy cider, is basically bits in it.
Still get some of the fruit floating about in it.
You put your spoon in it and it'll stand up in it basically. And they always say whatever falls in the barrel stays in the barrel. So if something falls in it and dies in the barrel, it doesn't matter. It just adds to the flavour. And it doesn't get distilled and taking all the impurities out. That stuff is lethal, and I will not drink it because I've seen people that drink it that just go. Woo.
I've seen some places and got some recipes where I can make my own fermented pointine.
Yeah,
but I want some of the distilled, and I can't even get it. I've got a friend of mine in Canada who's trying to get it from another person, and because where they live, they can't get it either. They can get it over in like Quebec.
You can't buy it in the UK.
So it's like, man,
you can't even buy it in the UK.
I've found websites where it's bottled.
Completely and utterly illegal.
Wow.
I've seen websites where it's bottled and all that stuff, but to order it and have it shipped to here, nope, can't.
Yeah, but that's not proper. That's not going to be poaching. That's not going to be proper poaching.
No, proper poaching is going to be like proper moonshine. You can't. Yeah. It's like going to Tennessee and the Gatlinburg and all that and say, "Well, I went in there and got moonshine." No, you didn't. There's a difference between legal moonshine, and it's still moonshine. Don't get me wrong, but it's just cut down so much. I want the real thing. I don't want this. Yeah. You can buy it in a store, and I just
no. You want somebody to reach under the underneath of their car and pull out something like an oil can or
if it comes in an oil can, man, we're gonna have a problem.
Yeah. But poaching, it's based on potatoes, and it's.
I was teasing Miss Irish vodka.
Kind of.
Wasn't that one recipe had raisins in it?
Yeah, the one that I said that was fermented had raisins and stuff in it, and I mean to give it a whole lot of more flavoring and stuff and more depth to it. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, maybe I'll try it, maybe I won't, but I want the distilled. So either I gotta find a way to make it. I think so.
Yeah.
See if I can find an old family recipe.
Start collecting your potato peels.
Oh, there's never a shortage of potato peels around this house. Wait a minute, what did Richard say? Richard said, if you drink real scrumpy cider, it's advisable to put the toilet paper in the fridge before you start because you will need it in the morning.
Yeah. And one of the things about, particularly the area of the UK that proper scrumpy is, you see a lot of people wandering around with their trousers and they tie the bottom of the trousers with like string, and everybody just think, oh yeah, but it's because there's a slight side effect if you drink a lot of it, and that's where you can't control your bodily functions.
Oh, you're not getting any of that.
I might get some, but I might not be drinking too much of it.
No.
Maybe drink it on the toilet.
Right? In one end and out the other. Right through.
For anybody that's surprised I took this conversation from paranormal to this, you've not really been paying attention to how I do a show.
Not at all. Not at all.
and everybody in the US that doesn't know me, this is the same level I talk as normal anyway.
This is a normal Jay and Carl conversation. This is why Carrie gets so upset with us and regulates everything we say when we're on Parasearch Radio. And I keep name dropping Parasearch Radio, Carrie Greenaway, Paul Rook, and Mark Manley as much as I possibly can because I love them to death. And Richard Clements, just great people. Go listen to them.
You know what, Carl? When you get to New Orleans and they bring you that bottle of clear, that glass clear, you have to let us know what you think about it.
Oh, yeah, don't worry. Yeah, I've got some set things that I've got to do the first couple of days before everybody turns up, and one of it is I've been told to go and find a drink called a Bow Wow. Which I believe is the strongest drink you can buy in New Orleans.
They got absinthe down there in one of the places.
Yeah, I'm not drinking absinthe.
Teresa tried it.
I tried it and didn't care for it.
Teresa tried it. Jason drank it.
No, I'm not a big fan of licorice or anything like that. So absinthe, no, and I don't like any drink that's the Magic Fairy or whatever they call it, the Green Fairy and stuff like that. No, not going to be drinking any absinthe. I know it's the home of it. I know there's several places, but no.
The bar that we were at on the tour that we were taking with Lord Chaz, we were doing the pub crawl that night. I walked in and I saw all these people sitting there with their nice little glasses, almost looked like sherry glasses, very similar. And they're all sitting there, it looked like they were drinking lemonade. It wasn't green, it was yellow. And I asked the gentleman, I said, may I ask you what
I stayed the hell outside.
And he says, oh, we're drinking absinthe, and if you're in this bar in New Orleans, you
have to drink absinthe.
Absinthe too.
So
Let
no,
me
I don't.
get you one.
No.
I said, okay. He bought it for me. I didn't know that it tasted like licorice. So I thanked him and walked out, and I took a drink of it.
She didn't take a drink. She took a little sip and handed it to Jason. Chugged it down. Jason did drink it. Well, he didn't chug it. Yeah, I'm out.
No, absinthe is. I've tried absinthe in France because that's obviously the French are. They're also big into the absinthe thing, and it's not my cup of tea. I'm not a big licorice. It's like the aspis which you get in France, where they just serve it on whichever bar they pour it and they put some water in. It's just basically like gargling licorice. I like eating licorice, but I can't drink it.
Yeah, they did the thing where they put the slotted spoon in the sugar cube and had it run out of this great big thing. It was neat to watch how they made it, but I'm glad I wasn't really thirsty because I'd have died of thirst by the time they got me my drink.
Yeah. No. I won't be touching any absinthe.
Teresa mentioned it down there. If you guys go to do a historical tour, get a hold of a guy called Lord Chaz and crew, the Dark Theater Ghost and Vampire Tours. He is absolutely amazing. He
is. We had
the theatrics. He dresses the part. He's a tall man. He's like 6 foot something. But he comes with the big pipe hat and he's got the fangs. I mean, he dresses the part. All his people, if you don't get him, some of everybody that's on his crew, they tell you the history. They tell you the urban legend. And they let you decide what way you think it went. It's very theatrical though, but very open, very honest, and just amazing. They do not just down in Bourbon Street. They do graveyard tours and everything else, but they're a phenomenal group of people. I would recommend them to anybody. Their tours are like no other. They were really cool.
Yeah, I know we've got some set things to do, and I've got some spare days, so I'm going to be making the most of New Orleans. So.
Oh, I would too. I can't wait to go back. I can't wait to go back to New Orleans. I want to get down there so bad I can't stand it.
Yeah, I think we got 3 investigations sorted.
Oh wow.
We're investigating the murder house.
Which one?
Where the guy killed his wife and kept her in the fridge and cooked her.
Oh.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're investigating that flat, which still has the original appliances in it.
Oh wow.
So the fridge, the cooker, the bathtub where we cut her up and everything like And we're doing some graveyard tours, both daytime and nighttime. We're going to go to Bloody Mary's Haunted Museum. So we got 2 weeks of just
What was the
absolute.
place we was on Bourbon Street that we went to? The bar. It was on Bar Rescue. I can't remember the name of it right now. That's sad. But it was a cool ass place. It had a dueling piano bar. And if you can name
I know the one. I've been told about that place.
it's great
It was
time.
so much fun.
Great time. Great people there. It was on Bar Rescue though here with that
And
John
they've got
Tafford
really
stuff.
good drinks there too.
Yeah, that was a good place. But yeah, I can't wait to get back to New Orleans. I was shocked at the price of things because I'm a country boy, and when they told me it cost me $50 a night to park my truck in the hotel that we were staying at's parking garage. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm paying this much for a freaking room, and I got to pay for parking my truck too.
We didn't.
So I'll take it to the city lot. It's the same thing at the city lot. I'm like,
Yeah,
son
it
of a
didn't matter.
bitch, $50 a night just to park my truck. So what if I'd have brought a Yugo? Same price.
Yeah, it didn't matter. Once we got to the hotel, we didn't move it again.
Oh, I was.
No, we took the trolley.
No.
The
That's what
streetcar.
I've been told. No, literally, don't even attempt to drive anywhere.
Oh, Rick was with us, and
We
he took
took
us down to Bourbon Street area, down that whole canal area, French Quarter down in there. And here's them little bitty streets. I'm down there in a big old 4x4 pickup truck trying to drive around them
When
little
we
bitty
first
corners and
got
shit.
there.
Oh, I was so mad. Oh, and he was just dying laughing. They thought it was hysterical. I'm like, get my hillbilly ass out of here before I run something over.
But I honestly, we did it once, and I really don't care if we go back to Bourbon Street.
If you want to party and be
It was-
drunk, it's a great place.
Yeah, but it was dirty.
Rats, roaches,
Yeah,
people puking
people
and peeing.
puking, peeing.
Mm.
It was dirty. But
Party!
French Quarter, I could have stayed there. I loved it.
So I'm jealous of the investigations you're going to go
I
to.
know.
We didn't get a.
Yeah, I must say, I'm looking for that. I'm looking forward to doing that. And, that's always fun to do. Obviously, investigations in various different new locations. So, and particularly some of these locations we're doing. So I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the whole trip. Really,
Well, no,
getting away, just not having to worry about things, and just sitting back, chilling out, and just relaxing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I know the last time you was over here, you was I don't know if it was the last time you was here, but one time I know you here last year. You were here in Vegas for the convention out there, and you ended up getting to go to the Clown Museum.
Yeah, we did.
Clown Hotel.
That was back in September last year.
Yeah.
Came over with Sam, stayed at the Luxor, where I always stay, and we had a bit of a paranormal road trip. We went up to Tonopah. We stopped off at Goldfield, went to Goldfield High School, and then we walked over to the Goldfield Hotel. And then we drove up to the Clown Motel, and we took part in a TV show where we were supposed to have been. Me and Sam will just happen to be wandering around Tonopah graveyard and get interviewed, and then do a impromptu spirit box session. And you're in the middle of nowhere. You're in the middle of the desert. I didn't have any phone signal 20 minutes after leaving Vegas. My phone just went. There's literally nothing out there. There's no phone signal or anything. So we were using Spirit Box. We asked questions. We were getting intelligent answers, like how many people are standing here. We got clear response saying 3. I asked several questions. But the Clown Hotel was just amazing. As we were I was getting the microphones taken off and de-rigged. Something out of the corner of my eye. We were the only ones in the graveyard, and I saw this figure in a cowboy hat walk behind one of the gravestones. Because there's a part in Tonopah graveyard which is slightly raised up, and there's a massive cross tomb. and this figure walked between two of the gravestones. Saw him clear as a bell, cowboy hat, to the point where I knew that nobody else had gone into the graveyard because there's only one way in, one way out. So literally, I'm the sound guy's taking the microphone off, and I'm going, leave me alone, and I'm heading up towards the graveyard again. Because I've just seen this figure, and as soon as I got to the steps to go into the graveyard, you could see the whole of the graveyard. That the person that I just seen in the cowboy hat was nowhere to be seen.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
When you're out in the desert, so it's not like they had any place to go hide.
Well, they could have jumped over the fence, but you could see literally for miles.
Yeah, so I'm saying there's no place to hide. It's wide open.
There was no way. He wasn't crouching down behind anything, because a lot of the places were just like very low tombstones. Obviously, the higher up stuff was like obviously people with a lot bit more money, which were the higher monuments and stuff like that. There was no way you could hide, and I saw this figure, and yeah. I saw literally, I could see that this figure had a cowboy hat, and he walked between two of these gravestones on this higher area. And I was like trying to go off, but Sandman was trying to take the microphone off me. We made the Las Vegas news.
That's awesome.
So by the time I got back, they put this news article on, and 2 English, blah blah blah, and then there's me, my ugly little mug appearing on Las Vegas local news.
That's what gets me though. You talk about coming over here and investigating, and I would, if I could afford, I'd be over your guys' the castles. I'm sitting looking at the castles and the forts that you've been to, the history that's there. I mean, don't get me, there's a long history in the United States too, but most people don't think about the history before the settlers came. They think, and we don't understand the history there either, because most of that was a spoken history and not a written history. So unless people carried on the legends and told the stories, if they pretty much, like a lot of the others, they pretty much get assimilated or they die away. But to have that history there that you guys have with that's a known history, and to have that opportunity, I just couldn't fathom it. Just gotta get my passport and get my ass over there, right?
Exactly. You just need to get your passports out, Joe, and get over there. Because this is, as we said earlier, that's the difference between the UK and America. We want to come and investigate the States. You guys want to come over and investigate over here, and it's just a house that's older than America. 10 a penny. Castle, we got plenty of those. Forts, we got plenty of those. But we want the asylums. We want the places that you guys have got over there, and you guys want the history stuff that we just take for granted. And same.
Did you guys get your asylums over there too?
Sorry,
you guys had asylums over there also.
Yeah, most of the asylums. There's not many asylums in the UK that still exist that we can get into. They're either been knocked down, they've been all turned into houses. Or flats and stuff like that. You guys over there, like Waverly Hills and places like that, these places are still accessible. You can still go there. We can't. We haven't got any of those sort of places.
Wow. But you got all these castles that, like Teresa's heritage. She's heritage is English, and she's actually what Mary Queen of Scots is part of your family.
Yeah.
That she can actually trace her lineage back to. I'm like, you married an Irish redneck. That was a bright idea.
Yeah, but that's pretty normal for our royal family.
True, touche. But it's just, I could imagine with taking her to one of those places where she does have a lineage connection to it, and seeing how things would respond. Could she get a response out of it? Would it recognize the lineage and stuff? I mean,
I would say if you could go to the several castles that Mary Queen of Scots were associated with. You could go to the castle she was held up in. You can still get access. That's a public castle. You can go into it when she was imprisoned. There's places, and I'm pretty sure that if you've got that connection, you've got that lineage and all that sort of stuff, you possibly could be getting some activity through that line. I can see that because there's that connection.
I've always wondered about that because, and you talking about the history of it. my opinion, and see what yours is. I think for being a paranormal investigator, part of you has to be a little bit of a history buff, also.
Absolutely.
And a little bit for me, it's also the architecture. We went into Mansfield Prison, and it's built like a castle or an old fortress castle, and it's all sandstone and everything was originally built. And I have to go back to investigate because the first night that I was there, I spent more time walking around looking, and it was all by the architecture and design of it than I could anything else. And when they turned us loose, before Teresa and him could even respond, I was on the 6th floor of the cells by myself up there walking around in the dark, no flashlight, no nothing. And they're like, "You're in a prison." I'm like, I actually feel comfortable at home. But it was amazing, the woodwork and stuff. So when I get into these buildings like over there, my investigation would suck because I'd be so inspired and so awestruck by the how they built this back then and how they just all the hand carving to it and the woodwork things. That's just amazing to me. And sometimes I actually get lost in that. Before and Jason and Teresa's go like, "Get back to the game. Pay attention to what you're doing over here."
Right?
Yeah. Well, we have similar over in the UK. We have what we call I know we've just recently left the Europe or Brexit, whatever you want to call it. But we have, I describe them, and over the years, our castles have irregular steps. They're called suicide steps because they're not the same. So they're not the same height or the same, as you go up, they're not the same width and they're not the same whatever. And that's if it ever did get sieged and everything like that, people trying to run up it that weren't from the UK,
trip.
Would trip. So there's that sort of stuff. And the way they design like the castles and the systems of when you're up in a certain area and they have the echo corridor where you can whisper something and you can hear it around the other side and you can communicate. And it's all those fascinating things with architect, which is just amazing.
It is. That just blows my mind. And like you said, you guys, well, we just want to come in and investigate you guys' old asylums. I'm like, they're just old criminal ass buildings, man. They have a history to them too. This and a lot of them are morbid, but they're just most of them are crumbling down. Your guys' buildings are still functional. People can still get in the majority of them, and you can't.
Oh yeah, and there's people who still live in these places.
Yeah, and it's like I could imagine living in a house that's been there for 1,000 years. That just baffles me.
No, that's just. You go to places like Rye, or you go to places like Bath, London, all these places around the UK that have been there for donkey's years. People will be living in these houses like 2 up, 2 downs that have been there 100 years, 200 years, or whatever. That's just normal. That's just the norm.
Yeah, that's not the norm here.
You go to Warwick. And I've got a friend of mine that lives in Warwick, and she lives in the cottages outside of Warwick Castle, which were built for Warwick Castle for the staff. So she's living literally, her back garden looks over Warwick Castle, where Warwick Castle was a place where they used to knight kings in the Kingmaker room. And that's just normal. That's just, you look at the buildings and it's just like that. But you ask anybody in the UK who's a paranormal guy where they want to investigate, I can guarantee they'll say Alcatraz, Waverley Hills, Penhurst. They'll name umpteen places, and most of them will be in America.
Well, Stephen Griffiths just joined. He's another one of the friends I've met through the UK and films over there. Just got films and some shows and stuff. He's like, "Oh, cool, UK boy." It's just amazing that you guys, I am impressed with some of these things. Don't get me wrong. I'm more attracted though to really not the asylums and stuff. They're cool to get into. Don't get me wrong, but they don't pull my attention like I think they should. Ashmore Estates. It used to be a place that was a poor farm. It started out, and then of course they keep housing some people there that was mentally deranged and things like that. But it was never. It was just it's got a cool history to it. It's got a cool vibe to it, and I'm not all about that whole morbid thing like they talk about it. Where'd you get Penhurst? Is that where you went?
Yeah,
where they Teresa's been to Penhurst. I didn't go. I'm like, I'm not paying that much money to go there.
Penhurst was very sad.
What's the other one? Trans-Allegheny.
Yeah.
I would like to go there, Once again, Jay comes out. I'm too cheap to pay the price they went to, and I'm not buying insurance and naming them the beneficiary of it. Not happening. I'm not doing it. And that's the cost to get in. Sorry. I wish you guys the best of luck, but you're not making any money off me.
Yeah, but you've got places like Fort Miffy,
Yeah.
all these sort of places, like Civil War, the Civil War forts.
Yeah, and Revolutionary Fort. There's still some, like Fort Sumter's still there.
Yeah, exactly. These are the sort of places that I want to go to because it has some of the history. But yeah, I'm planning various different when I go out to the States. And then always all my trips to America, apart from when I go to Vegas, which is mainly wrapped around gambling and
Debauchery and
whatever.
fun.
Yeah, exactly. But
That's why I will meet you there.
exactly. That's what you go to Vegas for.
I wouldn't know. I've never been to Vegas.
Yeah, gambling and looking at architecture. That's what I go to Vegas for.
Well, see, I'll meet you in Vegas, and I'll watch you gamble. I will not gamble. We'll go to the little gambling places around here, and Teresa will take off and gamble. I won't hardly gamble. I'll bet you a pound of flesh, but I won't bet you my money. I work too hard for my money, but you can cut my finger off.
He's not right in the head.
That's the thing, people, because yes, I'm quite lucky when it comes to the whole gambling front. And the last 3 or 4 trips, I've left with a profit more than I came out into Vegas from. But as soon as somebody says, "All right, I'm gonna watch you gamble, and I'm gonna play the same things you do," I start losing.
I'm not going to sit right there and watch you, and I'm damn sure not going to play the same thing you are. I'm not putting my money on the table. I will bet you a pound of flesh before I bet you my money. I will bet you that I can break an arm or a leg before I'll bet you my $5. I want my $5.
I can guarantee, Jay, I will be able to get you gambling at least once because of one reason only. You play the $20 rule when you go to a bar.
You play the $20 rule.
Yeah, basically, you order a drink through the barman. You make sure as he's coming over to give you your drink, you put $20. You watch him. So you make sure he watches you put $20 in the machines that are in the bar. As soon as he watches you do that, and you pay for that first drink, you will then drink for free as long as you are paying that $20.
Well, that sucks because I don't really drink anymore.
Okay. I'll drink it.
Yeah, Teresa drank for me. And Richard just cracked me up. Richard Clements is in the thing. The problem is if Jay came over to the UK, we would show and we showed him around. We would have to take him everywhere twice. The first time to introduce him, and the second time to apologize.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's.
But I have a good sense of humor.
Yeah, I tell you what, they will absolutely love you over in the UK because we love the Americans anyway. It's a bit like the Brits coming over to the States. Everybody loves a good British accent in the UK.
Yeah, but
You
my
can
country
look
bumpkin
like
ass.
the Elephant Man. All I'm going to say, you can look like the Elephant Man with a British accent. You are going to be a hit in America. Simple as. And it's like vice versa when you come over to everybody loves Americans over here.
Yeah, but I've got that hillbilly accent. I'm gonna be walking around with my
that's
as we call them bibbed overalls. You guys call them dungarees and braces. I'll be walking around my overalls.
They'll be thinking you're either part of Dukes of Hazzard or part of the Beverly Hillbillies. They'll just absolutely love it.
Well, I've got your translator.
Should I started with that Furge bit and Yonk too far? They'd be like, "What the hell is he?"
Just put on that little bit of a droll a little bit longer, and they will.
Trust me.
They'll have you. You'll be eating out of their hands. With
I have to hold that draw back so I can actually talk on radio. I usually get talking so fast and so southern. Even the people my family come and go like, "Whoa, dude, what'd you just say?" Slow down, dummy.
We were at Jason's house, and his wife's mom was there, and she had a friend with her. And Jay started talking, and he was excited about what he was talking about.
Well, they asked me a question. I was answering it.
And when he gets excited, he talks even faster. And she just looked at him, and she goes, how do you listen to him? He just talks too fast and too much.
Teresa had to play translator for her. I'm like, I don't talk fast. You just listen slow. Now, if all the places we just named, what is your number one, top of the list, UK, US, I don't care, anywhere in the world, what one place would you absolutely would almost sacrifice a lot of things to try to get into?
Well, there's two places, and they're both exactly the same. They're both historical, they're both meaningful, and they're both worldwide known. One's in America, one's in the UK, and they're both similar. They're both basically similar to it. And I would give my right testicle to get into either of them. That is to be able to investigate either the Tower of London or the White House.
Oh, damn, the White House.
Yeah.
I've spoken to several people that have had the opportunity to go to the White House. I'm very good friends with Jeff Belanger, and I've got his book that he wrote about the White House, where he actually spoke to people that worked at the White House, and that he documented some of the famous hauntings, etc. And obviously, we sadly tried to burn down the White House. You guys rebuilt it, and there's one area of the White House which still has the burnt bricks of the White House. And obviously there was one of the presidents that completely gutted it inside and rebuilt it from the inside because it was falling apart. But yeah, the White House and the Tower of London would be mine. I've been quite lucky to do quite a lot of impressive locations in the UK, which are on most people's bucket list, but I would give anything to do either the White House or the Tower of London.
Wow, never even thought about those two. When
you
people
can't get into the Tower of London, can you?
You can get in. I have tried to. I got told off.
No. You?
I got told off last time I was in the Tower of London. I was at one of the areas in the Tower of London called Traitors Gate, and I sort of just followed a tour group into the Tower of London, just to blend in. And I was doing an EVP session at Traitors Gate, got a tap on the shoulder, and we went, and this bloke in his Beefeater costume went, "We know what you're doing." And I went, "What?" He went, "You're doing an EVP. You're doing your ghost hunting. If you carry on like that, we're going to ask you to leave." And I went,
Wow.
"Okay, no problem." And so they're just so strict on it. They won't let any of that going on in that place.
See, the first place that always pops in my mind when people ask me is that island off of Italy, where they have this sanitarium, where nobody can go. I want to go because you said I'm not allowed to go. I want to go.
MJ, my friend MJ, Sage Paracon, does conventions over in the States. She did for the last 2 years. She did 2 European cruises for paranormal, and she managed to get permission to take her tour group to Pavilion for a daytime tour.
Oh, I want to spend the night there one night.
You can't. Yeah, they don't allow anything like that. They allow groups in the air.
That's why I want to go.
Exactly. Yeah. But the island next to it is supposed to be even crazier.
Let's go.
Which is you can go to. But obviously everybody focuses on Pavilion because of certain TV shows.
Right.
But yeah, there's another island literally just next door. Then
let's go to that one. If I can get to that one, then let's go. I mean, if it's got that kind of activity, I want to go. I'm all about. And I get in trouble with Teresa all the time. You see me investigating, where I say, you can hit me, kick me, push me, scratch me. You can channel through me. You can possess me. I've still yet to have anything happen at all. And I don't. Do you use protection when you go in? Do you use any kind of protection or prayers or any of that stuff when you go to investigate? Do you sage afterwards? Do you do all that?
No. I'm a bit of. I've been told several times. No, I don't do any protection.
Have you ever had anything
That's
follow you
usually the
home?
point where, when I did public events, when we're doing the whole group protection, I would wander outside. But no,
I'm with you.
Have you
I'm
ever
with
had
you.
anything follow you home?
Jason, and I, neither one do any of that stuff. Neither one of us. Now everybody else on the team does, and we respect that. But they're always on our ass saying, well, "You guys need to do this." We haven't so far. Nothing's happened. So you guys have, and nothing's happened. So we have a thing going here where we're actually doing kind of a research on it, and so far we've had nothing happen without doing it, and they've had nothing happen with doing it. So who's right?
yeah, I kind of changed my mind about it after one experience that I had.
I'm waiting for that experience, and I'll probably do the same thing.
Yeah. I kind of sort of I kind of thought after it went, yeah, I'm probably being a bit of an idiot not to do it, but I still don't do it.
I'm with you on that one, brother.
I just feel that I'm there to experience something. I'm there to investigate. I'm there to research. And if I'm doing protection, in my eyes, if I'm doing protection, in my eyes, I'd be thinking that's going to give some sort of blocking or that. I know. People on both
I agree with you.
sides.
I agree
People on
with
both
you.
sides have explained it to me, and they've explained it so many different times. But in my thick skull,
I'm with you. I agree with you 1,000% with what you're saying right now. And
I just worry that if I do protection, I'm not going to
have the experience that you're there for. Right. And that's why I do the offering like that too, because I'm there to experience something, and I don't want to. And it's not just experience. I can't say that. I offer to them to be able to channel through me or communicate through me because we are also there to communicate with them, to tell their story and to find out why they're there and what's going on. And if they can't manifest themselves, if they can use my energy or use my vessel to have that communication, to relay that information that's needed to be relayed, then I'm willing to have that happen. It's not that I want to be the cool guy that got possessed. No, I don't want that. But I'm there to communicate. I want them to have every opportunity to get that communication that they need.
Yeah.
That's just my way of looking at it.
I agree on a certain level with you, Jay. Experiences over my career, sometimes I wish I had done protection because of events that have happened. I know Teresa was saying a second ago that had I had anything come home with me. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yes. Have you had anything follow you home?
Besides me.
I can't be 100%, but I do believe after a certain investigation, I had some strong feelings of depression for a small period of time, very, very bad luck, etc., and accidents, things like that happen. And I kind of look at it from the experiences that I had on the particular night, that potentially something could have followed me home. As I said, I'm not a medium. I'm just an equipment guy who can be a little bit sensitive, because over the years, as you guys know, if you keep going into these sort of locations time and time again, you sort of pick up on the energy flow in the locations. Not saying you're picking up on spirits, you're just picking up on the environment and you're becoming more attuned to it. Right. So I don't know. I can't be 100% if something followed me home. Looking back, I think I had the telltale signs of something. So yeah, that's why sometimes I just think I should stop being a cocky little so-and-so and actually try and think, okay, maybe you should think for your future and try and do some protection. But then the overwhelming comes into me and goes, no, let's just get on with it and see what happens.
I say I usually have tourmaline on me, stones or crystals for protection and grounding. So
yeah, I'm normally surrounded by people that have my back when it comes to that sort of stuff.
right.
That will have the like you say, the tourmaline,
Yeah,
the various different things.
We have what we call our oh shit bag.
So yeah, so I do have that to fall back on investigations. Yeah, there's sometimes that I come back after an investigation. I'll be sat exactly where I'm sat now, talking to you, and I'll just be like trying to relax after an investigation, and I'll hear footsteps above me, and I live in a relatively new house built in 2014, and I know I live alone, and I know there's nobody above me, and sometimes you'd be sitting here after an investigation trying to just relax a little bit, and there'd be noises above, etc., etc. So you do wonder whether something has gone. Oh, I'll tell you what, I'm going to follow him. Oh, he looks interesting. Let's get in the back of his motor. Oh, he's going in that house, and and they'll be having a wander around, a bit like when you go to a party and you start going through people's drawers and look what they've got in their cupboards, I suppose.
Yeah.
And we got a statement in the chat room. Steve White says, why are so many teams more interested in going to a well-known haunted location than they are helping family in need of a haunting? It's always exciting to go to a well-known location, but what's more important, going to a well-known location or helping a family in need? My stance on that is I don't think that all these teams just go to well-known locations. We don't. We help families in need. But families in need is a private matter. You sign non-disclosure waivers and stuff, and you should not, especially if you told them that you're doing incompetence, not put anything out publicly. Anything we do with a private person in a private location is never, ever mentioned publicly. Where we go to these locations, we can do that. We can also practice new techniques, new styles, and other things.
And one of the other things about that is if you're doing a private investigation, or you're doing a private investigation research or whatever, sometimes there's people out there that don't know what they're doing that can make things worse.
Right.
So you have to, in my eyes, I can do public events, I can do research, I can do investigation. Am I equipped to do a possible private location, as in at somebody's home, and be able to help and whatever? Probably, but I'd still need the backup of other people to help out.
Absolutely.
So there are teams that are some unscrupulous people out there that will just do it for the sake of doing it. Could make things matters worse. So I prefer private investigations, such as a location, such as a famous location, or any type of location isn't like a residential case. So we can then document cameras, put your equipment out, get your mediums in, look at the science, look at the history, etc. Do the whole incorporated. When it comes to residential private cases, I don't personally think I'm skilled enough in it to take the chance that I could make matters worse. If that makes sense.
Stir anything up and make it worse on the family.
Yeah, exactly.
I agree, but like I said, when we do private residentials, I tend not to try to mess with the client. I just do my job. I go investigate. I read my equipment, and I give you the best translation I have of that. I leave it up to the psychic mediums and everybody else to say, well, having what you found and what we have also, we think it's this. I let them interpret that. I don't, because I'm like you. I don't think that I have the knowledge and skill base with just my limited knowledge and my ability to only use the equipment to make that call. And like I said, also, we never, ever, ever, ever put anything from a private resident out. We do know some teams that's went live from private residents and stuff because the people said that they could. I still won't do it. When we're doing a residential, it's private, it's personal, and we never, ever, ever expose those, ever.
Yeah.
Not even to get on my ghost or anything else like that. We worked with some teams that's turned their cases over, and most of those we don't even allow them to mention our names, because we're not there for that reason. We're there to help them. I don't do this to be on TV. I do this because I love what I do, and I love being able to help out if able to.
John Tincher says there is nothing wrong with someone that wants to just have an experience.
Absolutely not.
Not everyone is suited to handle private home investigations.
Agreed on that too.
Absolutely.
Knowing your skill level, knowing your abilities, like kind of like what you were saying, and doing your thing.
Well, Stephen Griffith says he does 10 years. He's done private homes.
Yeah, we don't do as much as what we used to, and like I said,
now it's even the people when they call for help, they just want to get on TV.
Yeah, we get a lot of that.
Yeah, we get some of that in the UK. I think private cases or house cases, you've got to have like I said, you've got to have the right makeup of your team to be able to help the people. Not saying I wouldn't. If somebody said, "Oh, would you join me?" and like you say, and if I'm doing what I normally do in monitoring the equipment, setting up experiments, etc., etc. But obviously, when it comes to giving reassurance or giving whatever to the homeowners, no, I'm not going to get involved in any.
We're doing a house cleansing.
See, I don't do that. I'm like you. I don't do that. I leave that up to Jason and Teresa and Tina and Brian.
Exactly. I wouldn't get involved in it. Wouldn't get involved in any of that. That's not. It's not what I know. I wouldn't get involved in any of that.
Yep. I do my job. I do my equipment. I do my readings. I give you my findings. And what you do with that information, how you translate it and interpret it and give it to the client, that's between you and them. And like I said, I trust Teresa and Tina and Jason, and I know their abilities. I know Jason's more on the equipment side also. He's an equipment guy. He's not a psychic medium or anything like that. He's like I am and you are. He's all about the equipment and what he finds that way. So, but we have a good way to marry the two of Teresa and Tina and then Brian and because he's got some wonderful abilities. And then you got Dave, the tech guy, our tech guy and our editor and all that stuff. And you got me and Jason. So we've got 3 on one side and 3 on the other side. So we balance each other. And we usually just turn the tech stuff over to the psychic mediums and Jason and say, okay, here's what we got. What did you guys get? How did you feel that this interprets and as it coincides? And then let them deal with it. I'm out. I try not to ever deal with the residential case with the client. I deal with the case, but not the client. Especially if there's children involved, because I know me. I get if there's children being harmed, I get pissed and I get very protective and very defensive. And now I'm no longer being objective to give them the answers that they need. I am now being very, very, very biased, and I'm not helping the situation. I'm doing exactly what you just said. I'm making it worse.
Yeah. Exactly.
And if there is something that are malevolent, I'm feeding it that negative energy.
And that's exactly. If there is, that's what they want.
Well, Steve, I hope that I'm glad he said awesome comments, guys. Thank you very much. And I'm glad, we were able to answer it. And that's what I love about doing these kind of podcasts and things. This is a digital roundtable like we do at 101. This is a chance for people to actually ask questions and nobody be offended by it. Get everybody's honest opinion. Even if you disagree with them, like we can here, we've had this couple, like, well, I don't see it that way, but we still respect each other. We still respect each other's opinion. Even if you don't like their opinion, you still respect their opinion.
Oh, exactly.
I couldn't do anything but respect you anyway, Carl.
Everybody's different. Everybody has kind of different opinions. Sometimes everybody thinks the same, sometimes they don't. As long as you respect that and you move on from it, that's life. I don't like people that try and ram it down people's throat that their views are right. Exactly. And I think that's wrong. That's when my back goes up and I go on the defense.
Teresa says it really well all the time. She goes, no matter who you come in contact with, whether it be the paranormal or in life in general, anybody you come in contact with, you're going to learn something from. You're going to see it's going to be something good or bad. You're going to learn something that you like. You're going to learn something that you don't like, but you still learned something.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Totally
John Tencher, great guest tonight. I agree with you, John. Carl's absolutely phenomenal, and you're going to see him on more shows because I want to get Mama D and some other people start booking his ass on some shows over here.
Yeah. I'm always. I just love doing. I just love doing what I do. I like talking. I like
talking shop.
If I can give even just the tiniest bit of reassurance or information that triggers somebody going, I never thought of it that way. I'm going to then think about it. And then their career or their path is then pushed forward because they've then just taken that I'm like a pig in mud. I'm happy. That's what I want to do. I think the paranormal field can sometimes be bogged down by egos. And I don't have an ego. I will, because one thing that I remember when I first started sort of going on events more often, you'd see these guys in their black hoodies carrying the silver cases, and you've been the paying public, you've paid your hard-earned cash on that. They'd open the cases, they'll take a few bits of equipment out, then you go on the investigations, you go over to them and say, well, what's that? And they won't explain it. Well, can I hold that? No, you can't touch that.
Don't touch that.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, no, that's expensive. You can't touch that. My views on it, and anybody that's ever investigated with me on a public event or a private investigation, as in like a private, not as in a residential case, I open my cases. I'm happy to talk the hind leg off a donkey about equipment. If you've got questions on equipment, I will happily talk. If I can give them some sort of knowledge or some sort of reassurance about stuff, but I will hand them the obvious. I will hand them the $600 Ovilus. I will hand them the £1,000 or the $1,000 SLS XCam to use. I will hand them any bits of equipment as long as I give them an explanation of how it's worked. Emphasize the point that it is an expensive bit of equipment and they are liable if they drop it, whatever. Right. And then I will go ballistic on their ass. But I remember what I want. I was like, I want to see these equipment when I first started. I want to use it. I want to know about it. And I wasn't given that opportunity. And I don't want to be that person where somebody turns up on an investigation and not be given that chance to actually have somebody actually talk to them in a respectful manner and say, this is what this bit of equipment does. This is what a Mel meter does. This is what it looks at. These are the false positives. And yeah, go on, have you, because that will put that little spark in them. Mm-hmm. And then potentially they could be making breakthroughs down their career. And I would just feel pleased that I gave them that little bit of a boost. A little bit of an ego push, just because I gave them 2 minutes out of my time and explained how a K2 worked, or how a REM pod worked, or how a static meter worked. And I love that because when I initially started, I wasn't given that. I was like, oh, you can't touch that. So I had to then go away and learn it for myself. So if somebody wants to know a bit about equipment, I will sit there with them and will just give them the information, because I want them to go away and think, wow, I know now what that is. And then potentially they're gonna move their path, or because everybody's on a different path in the paranormal. Right. And if I can just give them a little bit of a boost, give them some information that they can then use down the line, that's what I want to do. That's what I'm happy at doing in the industry.
I do the same thing.
Coming up to you and says, Carl, I really want to start investigating. I've never done one before. What bit of advice would you give them?
I would do two things. I would just talk about their beliefs. I would talk to them about why they want to do it. I would find out whether they've had any experiences, or whether it's all about, they just watch TV or whatever.
Right.
That's just to give me just like a conversation starter. I would then basically, if they're interested in the equipment side, I would give them some time and tell them to don't go out and buy everything you see on TV. You only need a certain checklist: night vision camera, EVP recorder, notepad, stuff like that. Don't go out and spend thousands upon thousands of dollars, pounds, pesetas, whatever you want to, whatever currency you guys use. Give them that information. And I would also say to them, find a group. Go on a couple of different groups. Find a group that fits with you, personality-wise. Because there's nothing worse like going around. You try a few groups in your area. There's particularly in the UK, there's so many different groups that do public events. get involved with that.
I was
If
just
you're
going to say, would you
interested
suggest
in
a public event?
public events, is a good starting place because you get to meet people that are starting their journeys into it as a hobby. You get a whole mixing pot of people's ideas and whatever on public events. And then you will then learn about possibly groups in your area that do more research-based investigations, if that's what you want to do. Or if it's a spiritualist side of it, like old school, like crystals, pendulums, and all that sort of stuff, you can guide them that way as well.
Absolutely, I agree. See, Steve says, do you guys think there's more paranormal drama in the UK versus the US? Sorry, I have to ask this, but I see this every day. We're watching live streams from the UK. Steve, I don't think so, because I see, because of getting to know Carl and carrying all them with Parasearch, and also Stephen Griffiths and all them, I've gotten to know quite a few people in the UK. There's just as much drama on both sides of the pond, because people can be asshats no matter where you're at.
Yeah, and everybody is jumping on the whole paranormal bandwagon of doing lives because they want likes. They're not interested in the actual paranormal. They just want the likes. They want this, that, and the other. They're not. There's some groups out there that do great lives because they want to help people and want people to progress in the field. There's a lot of teams out there, particularly in the UK, and it's probably exactly the same as in America. All they're interested in is the likes and how many followers they have. They're not really interested in the field as such. They just want the likes, they want the followers, they want that 5 minute of fame.
Right.
No, I'm still riding on my 5 minutes.
Yeah, I've been doing it 20 years.
We've only been doing about 9, so I ain't gonna I'll catch up one day maybe. So Steve says, I'm a lone wolf. No one can see me cry or scream.
I know several people in the UK that do lone investigations. Not my cup of tea, because when I first started, I was scared of my own shadow. I like have somebody that has my back. That's a very key thing for me, is working with people that you trust and that have your back. Because if you do get affected, people that have seen you work on an investigation will see the changes in your mannerisms, your personalities, etc. That then can step in and say, "Come on, let's just step out of the situation." So that's why I like to work with certain people in and out, time and time again. I don't think I could. I'd always be worrying that there wouldn't be somebody there to have my back if I did a lone job. Which, nothing wrong with doing lone jobs.
No,
it's just not my cup of tea.
I like to work alone, but with it's taken us a long time to get the Paranormal Mysteries crew together, and there's people that I know that I don't have to think. I know they're behind me. I know they got my back, but I have to work with somebody else, even before we get the Paranormal Mysteries crew together, because I'm not that smart. And if I see something or hear something, I'm gonna go after it. I'm not gonna think. I don't take the time to think. Not even just the paranormal, just in my daily life. I don't stop to think, oh, wait a minute, I might get hurt. I plot into it first, and I look at the middle of the situation. I go, oh shit, I'm in trouble. Yeah. I never stop to think about.
Not sturdy enough.
I don't think of this paranormal, and thank God, Teresa and Jason and them like, you might not want to do that, and they'll stop to point that out to me, because if not, I'd go ahead and plod right through it and go, oh damn, now I'm in trouble. I'm just I don't. But that's the way I've always been, even as a child. It was like, don't stick your finger in that socket, you'll get shocked. So I stick my finger to see if they was right or not.
Yeah. It's a bit like when somebody says, don't push that button. What's the first thing you do?
I'm going to push that button.
Yep.
So,
exactly.
But it's so that teamwork and having that confidence, being lone wolf is cool. And I like it on certain occasions, but I agree with you on the long run and on the bigger picture, having that confidence is people that you can trust and rely on to have your back like that, whether it be paranormal investigating, whether it be anything that you're doing in your life, is unfathomable of how dependent and how feeling and the feeling of that is. And I love it.
Well,
Yeah,
like you said,
absolutely.
I know that if we're investigating these paranormal mysteries and I start channeling or something, jumps me and starts channeling, I know Tina would recognize it, Jay and Jason would recognize it, and they would know what to do. They would pull me out.
Totally agree. You've got to have that. You've got to have that person that's going to notice the smallest changes in your mannerisms, your characteristics, what you're doing, because you never know what's happening. You don't know when something potentially could happen.
Right.
Stephen said, very awesome subjects tonight. Thank you guys for being there. Stephen, thank you for joining us. I mean, this is something that not only we just do because we enjoy doing the podcast, but we are very passionate about what we're talking about. There's not a person that's on any of our podcasts or shows that absolutely just are passionate about the paranormal, and they want to share their knowledge base. And we're blessed that we have a large crew of people around us here in the U.S., and we've gotten to know quite a few people in the U.K., and that are all very positive, very like-minded. Nobody ever belittles anybody. They're all, even if they disagree with you, they disagree with you with integrity and honesty. And that's something that I'm so proud and so thankful that the people that we associate with are all like. And it's just a blessing to have that around us, not just with our team, but our whole network. We network with so many people. And I think that's another good thing about paranormal too. If you're new to it, no one person can know everything. No one team can know everything and have all the answers. Network.
Mm-hmm.
Communicate. Talk to people.
As the saying says, there's no experts in this field.
No,
because you're always constantly learning.
So,
the scenario I say, you could have been in this field 50 years, or you could have been in this field 5 minutes. The person in 5 minutes could have talked to the person that's been 50 years and just come up with one idea that person that's been in it for a long time will think, hang on, I'd never thought of it that way.
Yep.
And they've learned something. You are learning, you're constantly learning. You have to. You can't. If you think you know everything about the paranormal and you think you're an expert, you might as well just hang up your T-shirt and your hat now and just walk away from the field.
That's one thing our good friend Robin Terry, God love that man, says all the time. The only thing we absolutely know about the paranormal is we absolutely don't know anything.
Correct. Correct.
So with that said, though, we are coming out. Oh, we're actually over on the show, and how can they find you, man? Where can they find you and get a hold of you at? Look at that clock. He's like, holy shit.
Yeah, I just looked over. I was like, oh, hang on. I can't believe that's 2 hours.
2 hours go fast. Way faster than you think.
Very quick. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on Facebook. Carl Hutchinson. Big cheeky guy, big goatee beard glasses. On Twitter, Carl_Hutchinson. As I said, you can catch me Thursday night on Parasearch Radio, on the PSH radio show, 9 o'clock UK time every Thursday night. And then on the Friday nights as well at 9 o'clock on the Dark Mirror show. I'm always open for people. So if you've got any questions that you didn't want to ask, as I always say, there's no any silly questions in this field. You can ask me absolutely anything. Equipment, paranormal, whatever you want to do. Get in touch. I'm always there. And like I said, this is what I love about doing what I do, is getting these moments, talking to great friends, just chewing the fat. It doesn't have to be, oh, I'm going to talk about equipment. I'm going to give you this, that, and the other. No. It's about having a chat. It's been having respect and opening views, talking about your point of views, giving your ideas, giving information that you've picked up over whatever matter how long you've been in the field, and hopefully there's one little bit out of this whole 2 hours that people are just going to go, yeah, I like that, I'm going to take that forward.
I agree with 1,000%. And Carl, as our friend, as one of our paranormal mentors and associates, I thank you for taking your time out tonight, staying up this late there in the UK to talk with us. I absolutely love talking with you guys, and have missed talking with you because we've had some pretty good chats.
Yeah. It's always good. And coming up for 3:10 in the morning. Hey, I don't care. I would do it all over tomorrow if I had to talk to you guys.
I love it.
Anybody that's got a blog this side of the states,
Mama
my
D, you heard
side of the
that.
pond, I'm happy to just come on and chew the fat with people, have a laugh, and impart some of the craziness that I've picked up over the years.
And if you guys missed any of the show, go back and listen to it because you guys can hear everything from us. Talk about bourbon to scrumpy cider.
Yeah, exactly. Pochine.
Yeah, Pochine, yes. With that said, we thank you guys so much for joining us here on LEP Productions. Have a great night, and we will be talking to you guys real soon. Sorry to get all the commercials in tonight, especially with Squatch GQ Magazine. You guys need to go check them out. After doing some amazing things over there. It's a cool magazine. Got more than just Squatches in it. Cryptids. It does have some things about paranormal.
Right.
So go check them out. I appreciate it, man. They're doing some cool things. With that said, Carl, thank you. Y'all, thank you for listening and joining us. We're getting the hell out of here. Teresa?
Thank you. Good night.
Been a pleasure, guys. Thanks a lot.
Indie video. And I know it's still catching me right now because